Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. This is my sister and she's living with me right now, so I thought I would include her in a video. Today I'm going to be doing a dupes video. So on my sister I'm going to be doing her makeup, and on one half of her face I'll be doing Drugstore, and then the other half I'll be doing the dupe that is a high-end product. So you'll be able to see that you can still get drugstore products that kind of compare to the higher end, and she will not be looking at which side I'm putting each of them, so then hopefully she won't be able to tell the difference. And yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so for primer today I'm going to be using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and this is regular $52. And the dupe that I find would be the closest is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is one I've really enjoyed lately, and it is $8 US. So comparing, that's a lot cheaper. And I find they're similar because they do blur the skin, fill in the pores pretty well, and then they also have kind of a hydrating element without making you look greasy. For foundation, I have the YSL All Hours. This is one of my favorite right now. It's supposed to be a matte finish, but I find it's more on the natural finish side, kind of a soft matte. And then the dupe I have for foundation is the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. They're not like identical, but I find the finishes are pretty similar. I would say that's the closest dupe I have for that. And for the YSL, this is $54 in US, and this one is $12.99. So again, obviously saving a lot of money there. Next, we have concealer, the beloved Tarte Shape Tape. This is a really popular one of my favorites, and this is a pretty well-known dupe, but one of the closest dupes I could find for concealer was the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. It is really full coverage, just like the Shape Tape, and I find it's really long wearing. It doesn't crease, doesn't cake. Next, we have setting powder. So I have the Too Faced Peach Perfect. I really do love this powder. I find it's really finely milled. It does have a bit of a color to it, but it is pretty translucent. And the dupe I found the closest in my collection was the Coty Airspun, which is also another one of my favorites. I find it similar in the way that it's milled. It's pretty fine, and it also is great for baking, has that bit of, you know, coverage. I do have the translucent extra coverage, so that is the one that I find the most similar to the Peach Perfect. Airspun is $5.97, I believe, on Amazon.com, and the Too Faced Peach Perfect is $33 regular. So then for brow products, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Pomade, this is a really well-known one. This is one of my favorite products. I have this in soft brown, and then the Makeup Revolution Brow Pomade is pretty similar in formula, and I find it wears about the same, like it's pretty long wearing. The next thing is eye primer. So MAC Painterly Paint Pot is a really good product to use for an eye primer. And the dupe that I found is the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. This is relatively new, and I tried it this past month. I do really enjoy it. I find that it is similar in, you know, the wear time. They both help your shadows, you know, not crease and wear longer, not fading. The only difference I find is the MAC Paint Pot is a little bit creamier, and that's all I'll say because I don't want to go into too much detail, but other than the texture of it, I would say the results are pretty much the same. So the MAC Paint Pot is $22 and the e.l.f. primer is $5. Moving on to eyeshadow, the Natasha Denona Mini Glam palette I reviewed a couple months ago, and I do really love Natasha Denona's eyeshadows, and I found that the color scheme was pretty similar, and just the idea of the palettes being kind of smaller and being like mini versions, it was very similar to the e.l.f. Bite-Sized in Cream and Sugar. So the colors aren't identical, but a couple of the colors are very similar. So that is that dark brown. And if you go into the darkest brown in the e.l.f. palette, they're pretty similar in texture and in creaminess, and they're pretty close in color. In the Natasha Denona, there is an extra shade. So the one that I find similar to the e.l.f. palette is Faye, right there, and it is similar to these don't have names, so we'll just go off of this right here. I'll point it to you. So that is the Natasha Denona one right here. And this is, it's a tiny bit lighter, but you can get a similar eye look with these palettes. But like I said, in the overall scheme of things, they're pretty close. And the Natasha Denona is $33 and the e.l.f. is only $3. So pretty big difference. Then we go to eyeliner. I personally like liquid eyeliner. Not everybody does, but for a dupe, one that I recently found, I just found it using them myself. I love the Kat Von D and also the Clinique Pretty Easy. They're pretty similar. The only difference is the Kat Von D is a little bit shinier. I would say it's like a satin finish, whereas the Clinique is more on the matte side. So I found that the dupe for these is the L'Oreal Flash Cat Eye by Infallible. So it's the Infallible line within L'Oreal and the Flash Cat Eye. So the tip is pretty similar to the Clinique and the Kat Von D. They all pretty much look the same. They're pretty fine and precise. In terms of formula though, I did find that, like I said, the Kat Von D is a little bit shinier. So the closest dupe was the Clinique one to the L'Oreal. So for the higher end ones, the Kat Von D is $21 and the Clinique is $22, and then the L'Oreal is $9.99. Now we have mascara. One of my favorite mascaras is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. Again, this is one that's pretty well known as a dupe, but one of my favorite drugstore mascaras is the Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal, and they're pretty similar in formula. I find that they do a pretty similar job on my lashes, and even the brushes look relatively close. Like the Too Faced one looks a little bit nicer, but they're pretty close. You can see that. So the Too Faced Better Than Sex is, what did I say? $25, sorry. And the L'Oreal Lash Paradise was, what was it?
2 for $15.
$10.99. For bronzer, which I find these two I can use as contour, so I'm going to kind of do them as contour slash bronzer for my sister, which by the way, her name is Kristen. I don't even think I said that. The high-end option that I really enjoy is the Pretty Vulgar Bronzed Bee in 113 Bronze Mannequin. You have to put that in the video. That's awesome. I can't read. Mannequin.
Like a mankini.
Is that how you spell mannequin?
But they spelt it
different, but I don't.
But there's no I on the end, Kate, so there'd be not E.
I know. All right. Okay, let's try that again. Number 113, Bronze Mannequin by Pretty Vulgar. And the dupe for today is the Makeup Revolution Mega Bronzer in 01 Cool. That is the Makeup Revolution, and that is the Pretty Vulgar. So pretty close. Bronze Mankini.
I was like, what the heck is she trying to say?
So the Pretty Vulgar is $25 and the Makeup Revolution is $8. So moving on to blush, I'm actually going to be using this Sephora Trio palette as the kind of higher end option. It's not the most expensive product, but the two options that I'm showing you are more of a drugstore. I'm going to use the blush from here and the middle highlight as my original product. We have a kind of more cool toned pink, but I like this blush because you can make it soft or you can really like,
hard.
You know, make it hard. Sorry, Mom. Anyways, you can build it up to a more, vibrant blush. So the dupe for this Sephora blush is the ColourPop, which was in the Mauve collection I just recently reviewed, the Catch My Vibe. It's similar in tone and really just in general, like the actual formula is pretty similar. It's pretty pigmented and it's pretty blendable. So they're pretty close. like cooler toned pinks. And then the highlight that I'm going off of for a dupe is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. It's the Powder Glow Illuminator. And this one is in N202 Rose. So if you swatch, I'm going off of the middle highlight here. So I'm going off of the softer highlight, and this is the one from the Sephora Trio. I'm just gonna build it up a bit just so you guys can see. So that's that highlight there. It's pretty soft and subtle, but you can build it, which is really nice. And then the L'Oreal Lumi is, again, kind of similar, that it is soft. It's similar in tone, like kind of a icy champagne, and you can build it. So that is the dupe for highlights. So the blush by ColourPop is $8, and the highlight is $12. But when you look at the sizes, you actually get more if you were to purchase these two, or if you were just looking for like one of the two, you definitely save money than buying a full trio from Sephora. The last thing is lips. This one was actually a little bit tougher because going off of everything I had, it was pretty hard to find a dupe that was like exact. So this might not be like perfect, but I'm using the Bite Beauty Power Move Creamy Matte Lip Crayon in Sugarcane. Crayon. Let's bring in the
model,
the assistant here. So this is the Bite Beauty. Do you see me? Yeah. And again, not like exact, but pretty close. That is the, sorry, I guess I should tell you what this is. So they're both matte lip crayons, and this one is by L'Oreal, and it is 501 Strawberry Glaze. So for Bite Beauty, the price is, was it $25, and the L'Oreal was $11.99. I have not a very good memory.
Stay classy, San Diego. It's Anchorman. That's what they say at the end of every newscast.
I don't know if I've seen that movie.
You've never seen Anchorman?
Maybe I have, I don't know.
With Will Ferrell? And
Ferrell?
Brick?
Just
Steve
Brick.
Carell is Brick?
Oh, yeah,
Where'd you get the Triton?
Okay. All right, so we're actually going to apply now. This side here will be, and this side here will be. So let's begin. I'm gonna be using my Beauty Blender for both sides.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
A lot of pressure.
This is a lot of pressure, guys. Okay, yeah, keep your eyes closed until I tell you to.
Yes, sir. I have big pores, so these both will fill. Like professional or better?
Professional is like probably my favorite for pores.
Yeah.
Nothing really compared. Well, Tarte actually is pretty similar, but they're both
Really,
really
which one?
Tarte Smoothing.
Oh.
You can use it.
Okay, I'm gonna try it next time. So far, a very different feel.
Yeah? Like, what's the difference in feel?
This one's a little bit thicker when going on,
Okay.
but it feels a little greasy on my face,
Okay.
but it has to soak in.
Yeah.
This one's like going right to powder, pretty much.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to foundation. Again, as I said, I'll use my Beauty Blender. How does that feel so far?
Good. It like soaks right in.
Yeah, that's another thing about these two. I find they like sit nicely on the skin. And I'm just gonna use the other end of the Beauty Blender for this one. Which you can turn your face that way.
That smells really good.
Yeah.
I thought I would guess right away, but now
You're not sure?
this foundation soaked in better than this one. Like right away.
Okay.
confused.
You're like, yeah.
I can't even see it, and I know you want it. Hashtag sisters.
Right? Well, pretty even. They look pretty much the same. I mean, I personally think so. And the reason I think these are similar is because like even the finish is the same and the coverage is pretty similar. The only difference is that the Maybelline has an SPF in it. So if you like SPF, that's nice. If it irritates your skin, that might be an issue, but you don't have any issues with that, right?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I guess, well, not too late. What I'm gonna do is apply the, don't look, Chris, concealer onto my hand so that she isn't confused with the wand, and apply with 2 separate brushes so she won't be able to tell. And now we will do the other side. I never thought this might give it away.
Why? The smell?
Yeah. Well, you know Cody.
Yeah, I know.
Well, now you're gonna know. Okay, wait. I'll apply them at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
It might look silly, but then she won't know which side
Even when you touch it
is
up.
going on which side. So first, I'm going to look
What
up.
was your thought?
Look up.
Oh, look up.
I'm just going to make sure there's no lines on either side. We're dipping in. Remember which brush is which. We're gonna tap off the excess.
You remember which brush?
Yeah. Okay, look up. Look up with your eyeballs. And can you tell?
No, I have actually no idea. No, because you both went up my
both.
nostrils. Same time.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue to do,
At least
this is kind of a funky way of doing things, but this is how we're gonna do it today, so she can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Do
at
they
all.
feel any different?
No.
What I typically do next is brows, so I'm going to get 2 separate brow brushes. She also, I have microbladed her eyebrows, but they do need a touch up, so this is why plus there's sometimes like the film over top, you wanna add a little bit of color. What did I tell you about the post I saw that said, if you guys are itching to get out in this quarantine, just shave your eyebrows off, you won't wanna go anywhere.
It's true. Yeah, I think you sent me that.
And to mix this up, again, because I can kind of give her a hint. I had mentioned one of them was creamier, so I'm actually going to apply them both with a brush, which will make that a little bit harder to tell. And then what you can do also is take a beauty blender and blend it out. We're going to move on with eyeshadow, applying the lightest matte color on each palette, kind of focus it in the crease and then blend it all across the eyelid. Next, I'm going to go in with the darker brown from each. I'm going to go into this with the smaller brush to get right up in the crease. I'm going to take the fluffy brush and just give that a a good blend. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take the metallics. I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to apply it all over the lid. And now we're going to do eyeliner. Do you like a wing or no?
Do whatever you want.
Now we're going to do mascara. The wands, as I said, are pretty similar, and even the packaging is pretty similar, so I'm just going to get them ready and then just don't focus on them. She's got like literally the longest lashes. I'm going to get you open and look straight at the camera. So we've finished mascara, and now we are going to move on to contour or bronzer. Next, we are going to do blush. I'm going to use a little bit of powder, so I'm going to do the same technique where I apply at the same time so she can't tell. Mix the two just because it's too small, the space. No way!
What you just do?
No way, I didn't do that.
Did you use the brush?
No! I just did the wrong side for lips. And the last thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of the highlight mixed again. And just highlight in the lip. And I'm going to spray it. Make it all come together. So this is the moment of truth. You guys have seen the two sides. I think they look pretty close. So pretty dang similar.
Okay.
So here is the moment of truth. She's going to take a look at her face. She's felt the products. She's now going to see the products, and she's going to take a final guess on which side she thinks is drugstore and which side she thinks is high-end. This video was just to show you guys you can still achieve a similar look and not spend hundreds of dollars.
The only difference I really see is the blush.
Yeah? What color?
Yeah. Everything else I can't tell. There's two different kinds.
Yeah?
I can't tell.
That's cool.
like feel. The only thing was the primer.
Okay.
So my decision's gonna go based off of primer.
Okay.
I think.
Are you nervous?
Yeah. I'm gonna say this side's Dupe.
So what do you mean by dupe? Like drugstore?
The Drugstore brand.
That's what is your final guess?
Yeah.
That's high end.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're actually, I don't know if you can tell, this one's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
But like they're pretty close. That was the one.
That was like not. The only reason I thought the blush this was high end is, because I thought this was Drugstore.
Yeah.
This was high end was because I've used Sephora blush before.
Yeah.
And I don't like the pigmentation of it.
You think it's too pigmented?
It's not pigmented
okay.
enough. But this one, it surprised me.
Oh.
Because I'm not used to Sephora. They must have, last time I used it, maybe they upped their game.
Yeah, I really like those trios.
Yeah, wow.
I'm glad that you did that because like that you got it wrong. Not because I wanted you to be wrong, but just because that just shows even more. Alright, so we have come to an end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was high-end versus drugstore, and she couldn't even tell, so that was really cool. I think they, like, you could go out and they look.
You couldn't tell.
Honestly, the
only thing is lips.
That's the only thing I would probably put one of them all over.
Or just blend it together.
Yeah. So, I think that turned out pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got some dupes that you will be able to save some money on. And have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, like the video, share if you want, do all the things. And have a great day, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.